care more about the environment, you're left, again, with this question of what in the world is motivating this. There's some deep hatred. It's like a deep hatred for humanity itself, but even at the expense of the planet. And so I still struggle with trying to comprehend that. There's a kind of existential guilt there for the crime of existence itself. It's something like that.
I mean, I think there's one really powerful fact about the increase in prosperity that I draw attention to a lot in Fossil Future because I think it's very notable. So I point out I was born in 1980. Since 1980, we've gone from more than 4 in 10 people living on less than $2 a day, and this is adjusted for inflation, to 1 in 10. So as you said, this is the greatest alleviation of poverty in human history. Now, what's really interesting is if you survey, and this was done in the UK, you might have seen this before, but there's a survey of college-educated adults in the UK about what has happened to extreme poverty over the past 30 or 40 years. And this is just, an objective documented thing, there's no question. And so what happened is only 12% of people thought it got better.
Right.
55% of people thought it got worse, and the rest thought it stayed the same. And it just shows you the level of miseducation about this issue. And I do think a lot of it is the modern anti-human environmental movement, because what they've done is they've taught us that our impact ruins the planet. And so we just assume that because the world used a lot more fossil fuels, particularly China and India did, which drove much of the increase in prosperity, they just assume that the world is worse. And what I don't use this term in Moral Case, but I use it in Fossil Future, our knowledge system, so the institutions we rely on for expert knowledge and guidance, they've totally failed at educating us about how much the world has improved from a human perspective. And this goes back to my argument that the anti-human environmental movement, they're trying to pretend to be pro-human. So they don't want us to know that the Earth is a much better place than ever to live. They don't want us to know that climate disaster deaths are way down. They don't want us to know about the decline in extreme poverty because it totally challenges their narrative that impact in general and fossil fuels in particular are bad. And if we recognized how vital fossil fuels are, then we would be really afraid of these proposals to get rid of fossil fuels in the next 27 years in a world that needs far more energy. And unfortunately, we're starting to realize this involuntarily because these policies just implemented 1%. These anti-fossil fuel policies just implemented a 1% success rate in the anti-fossil fuel movement's view have already led to a global energy crisis.
You smart, you loyal, you're grateful. I appreciate that. You smart, you loyal,